Okay.
Okay, when you're ready.
Okay. Welcome to the planning committee. We'll start off with apologies for absence. Please,
So yes, we have one from Councillor Patrick Bosnan, who is away on holiday.
and we're all happy to accept that.
It's Jane, I think. And we have Jill Haynes, who is substituting in his stead.
Do we have any declarations of interest?
No.
Are we happy with minutes of the meeting of the planning committee held on the 9th of January? Are we happy with that?
That's it today. Thank you.
Is there any chairman's report or urgent items?
No, Chair. Neither of those.
There we go. Public questions in accordance with standing orders 22 and 23.
No, neither of those either.
So we'll start. So we'll do applications registered week ending the 5th of the 1st, 24, the 12th of the 1st, 24, and the 19th of the 1st, 24. First one, 5/2023, 2486 doesn't meet the criteria. So we'll start with 5/2023, 2517, which is 40.
Right, okay, so 40 Ridge Avenue, the application is looking to put a bedroom in the roof space to total 5 in the property, extended to the side over the footprint of the detached garage to 2-storey level, but stepping in by 1 metre at first floor level and extending to the boundary number 38 Ridge Avenue at ground floor level. The side elevations are increasing in bulk and depth, especially in the case of the side number 42 Ridge Avenue. However, an application is due to be submitted for that property for a single part 2-storey. So yeah, part single, part 2-storey side and extensions following demolition of the existing garage, which is likely to reduce the impact these proposals may have on them. The ridge height is also increasing by approximately 500 millimetres to facilitate the roof bedroom. The road slopes upwards towards number 42, therefore the increase in height could affect number 38. However, there is a 1.7 metre gap to the boundary of the upward side elevation. It also appears that this property has extended to 2-storey level to the same rear building line as is proposed with this application, therefore once again reducing any impact. An integral garage and 2 off-street parking spaces are proposed. Despite the application form stating there will be no trees or landscaping loss, it appears in the block plan that at least 2 trees and additional hedge needs to be removed to enable the works. However, there are no details of planned replacement trees to satisfy the requirement of the neighbourhood plan of 2:1 replacement ratio. The tree officer from St Albans has also observed that there's a TPO on a lying tree on the site and requests that further tree surveys and impact assessments are required. So my consideration is to express concern. Despite the committee having no objection to the proposal to the property itself, they express concern that despite the loss of trees to enable the works, there are no details of planned replacements to satisfy the ratio of 2:1 replacement trees, as detailed in policy ESD 11 of the neighbourhood plan.
Any comments?
Trees, pushing.
Yeah.
Agree with that.
I agree with that.
I mean, the fact that the TPO, also the tree officer from St Albans, has observed that there's an important tree on the site, it gives further justification that they need to submit some further information on trees.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, we'll have that. Yes. 5 2023 2522 and 5 2023 2482 don't meet the criteria, so we move to 5 2023 2400, which is St Andrews Lodge, South Down Road.
Okay, the proposal is to add 14 photovoltaic solar panels to the front elevation roof slope. Property is locally listed in the conservation area and presents with a particular style and character which the addition of solar panels will impact. Property overlooks Harpenden Common and is part of a line of historic and characterful properties which are clearly viewed across the openness of the area. And I said, consider expressed concern that proposed solar panels are an unacceptable addition will have a detrimental impact on the particular design and character of this locally listed building in the Harpenden Conservation Area. Concern is also expressed that the proposal will have a detrimental impact on the unique character of the surrounding area overlooked from Harpenden Common. Policy ESD 1 and 2 of the neighbourhood plan and policy 69, 72, 85 and 87 of the district plan affairs. I think we're probably all relatively familiar with this particular property.
Is there a reason why they can't go on the back?
I suppose because the sun
It's where the sun is.
location.
There's no point having
Yeah, but- I'm not sure it makes that much of a difference. I mean, it's not ideal to be south facing, but I don't think it's essential.
It's beneficial.
I thought you couldn't have solar panels as a matter of course if you were living in a conservation area.
I think so.
The only reason I say that is that, you know, this programme that the council's been doing whereby it's been offering solar panels to residents, and we took it up. And I had a case referred to me by somebody who wanted to have solar panels, but they were living in the conservation area, and I was told by the planning department that it was just a no-no. I don't know whether that's changed or not.
I think it was awful.
Because
Isn't the roof slightly orange in colour?
Yeah.
So you'd have
Yeah.
the orange roof and then you'd have big black panels as well. So it's not even like it's going on a dark roof.
I don't think having it at the back, even if it's not fat south facing, I don't think it would make a massive impact. Maybe 5-10% difference on what they could get.
Mhm.
Because you can still get energy through solar panels when it's not sun. It's light as opposed to direct, you know, burning sunlight. Yeah,
I
I
mean,
do know
it
about
will
conservation
have, it will impact on the look of the house. won't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, and the look of that whole row, because you've got the Quaker and.
Yeah.
beautiful, don't they?
Yeah. I can understand, I've seen inside the house and it's massive and I can understand that we can save energy, but.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look that big.
Yeah.
No,
It's
it
actually
doesn't.
quite substantial, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
went onto my right move as usual. To find suitable images that might be useful.
Yeah.
Is there any reason why you've said expressed concern as opposed to refuse?
Maybe I was being slightly cautious,
Okay.
that was all, but I mean, it's, the committee is more than at liberty to recommend refusal.
I would probably refuse that. I think it would change the whole look of that whole section. And if they start doing it, then the Quaker House could then come ahead and do it.
The Quaker House has actually got solar panels, but on the newer addition to the side.
On the
No, it's at the side.
Side.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't notice it then.
No, this is on the newer.
And they don't have a corner plot either, do they? Which-
No.
And it's a substantial plot.
I concur with that. Conservation area, setting precedent.
It's also locally listed because it will really impact on the look of the property. That's my feeling.
Yes, I mean, this image here shows you exactly.
I was wondering like what they're doing and then, yeah, I did.
Anybody
Doesn't look great.
thinks it's okay? Any?
No, it looks awful, but we're all meant to be
Green.
going green.
But within reason.
Yeah, not to the detriment of other factors.
Including our local neighbourhood plan.
Yeah, I suppose that's where it boils down to the local neighbourhood plan.
I agree with your statement. I possibly suggest we vote on whether we change it to express concern to refuse.
Okay. So we'll start off with, do we go refuse first, do you think?
Yes, you can do, yeah.
Does anybody want to refuse? Yeah. And does anyone want to express concern?
Yeah, I'll abstain, I think.
Yeah,
I s- Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, in theory, the majority was already
Yeah,
there for
majority,
refusal
yeah,
anyway, so.
refusal.
Okay, I will amend that then to be for refusal.
Okay, so 5/2023, 2532 will be the criteria. We'll move on to 5/2023, 2539, which is 117 Pickford.
Okay, so actually, not long ago, we looked at this application or this particular site. This application is a resubmission following withdrawal of the previous application following concerns expressed by Hertfordshire Highways over only one crossover to serve two separate properties. Proposal still looks to split the existing dwelling into two properties, one 3-bedroom and one 2-bedroom property. Current dwelling has 5 bedrooms with 3 reception rooms at ground floor along with a conservatory. Essentially, only internal alterations are being made with no extension proposed to achieve the two properties. There's a large hard-standing drive which can accommodate 4 cars, which will be split for each plot. To address Highways concerns, this application now seeks to reinstate the existing drop curb to footway and include 2 new drop curbs following the relocation of the existing highway lamp column to serve each property. Well, the proposal will actually assist with generating smaller properties in the town. There is also a comment actually now from Highways to say that they have no issues. And there is also a letter of support from 115 Pickford Hill for the proposal.
Support.
Yeah, letter of support, yeah.
Brilliant.
Great. Happy with that, everybody?
Yep. Yeah.
Good. 5/2023, 2377 doesn't meet the criteria. So we'll move on to 5/2023, 2545, which is 10 Highlanders Close.
Okay, the property is located at the end of a cul-de-sac with the rear gardens of a neighbouring street to the side boundary. The bulk of extension is to this side. Property is in the street except in staggered building line with the neighbouring property at number 8 Carpenter's Close set further forward on the plot. Proposal is looking to extend over the existing attached side double garage and across the back in line with the existing rear ground floor building line, the ground floor and 2-storey level in part. This is to facilitate open plan living accommodation at ground floor and an additional bedroom and bathroom facilities at first floor. The garage projection is also to be brought further forward in line with the existing opposite side building line. Small changes to openings and materials to give the property a more modern look, solar panels to the rear roof slope and a glass balustraded front balcony are proposed. Although front balconies are not normally accepted due to the possibility of overlooking, due to the outlook from the front of the property and the side screening proposed, the front balcony is deemed to be acceptable. Proposals do not appear to cause any unacceptable harm on the neighbouring properties, not conservation area and no tree works. However, since I said that, there are letters of objection online from the neighbours. So number 47 Tufnell's Way, which I assume must be, I think actually must, to the right. Yeah.
The numbers on the.
Yeah, so actually, no, it's to the side. The number 4, so 47 Tufnell's Way is actually to the left of the property. You can see it just on the,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I see.
So they object to the proposal. This proposed extension has 2 issues. One, a balcony on the 2nd floor, that even with an opaque glass severely impacts our privacy and our garden for number 47 Tufnell's Way, as would be overlooked with no hedge or tree barrier. And then the second concern is the double-storey roof line will materially diminish natural light into our garden. And then there's also an objection from number 9 Carpenter's Close, which I assume must be the neighbour. The design is not at all in keeping with existing houses in the close. The houses in the close tend to be of a design where the ground floor extends out to the front with a sloped roof, with the first floor being set back. This design is totally different from that. Further, there are no houses with balcony for the front of the house in the close at all, to my knowledge. So again, this design will really clash with nearby houses.
That whole true?
I think it looks much nicer.
So the difficulty in a
The second
sense,
part of what you said.
what's that? That there are
If I look at my neighbour's house, it, everyone refers to it as the Mormon church on our road. There you go. It's a great landmark. And doesn't look anything like any of the
Anything
houses.
else?
Yeah, so it's-
So he's probably correct in the fact that close would be made up of
Yeah.
relatively uniform houses. But because of the location of where this actually is, it's
kind of off the road a little bit, isn't
it's
it?
kind of
Yeah.
outside of the general flow and grain of the streets.
yeah.
Can I just say they're complaining about the balcony, but actually from where the balcony would be, they'd have to have the neck of a giraffe to actually see around the corner to look into number 47.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, it does.
It's not a side balcony, is it? It's the front of the house that backs onto their garden.
Yeah, so it's, I haven't got it actually here, I've got the fiscal drawings, but there's a glass screen to the side, because ultimately the people using the balcony don't want to be overlooked as much as people in the surroundings don't want to be overlooked. So,
We've got those are backs of the gardens, aren't they?
yes,
Going on to, you can see big green hedges and that's the back of people's gardens.
yes.
Also, isn't any different having a Juliet balcony? Because you're not actually walking out onto it, you're just.
It's- No, it's not, it's not, yes,
It's an actual
walkout balcony, yeah.
But you are gonna be putting your life at risk. Leaving out to watch them sunbathe in their back garden,
Yeah.
you know, to get your head around. Could you flick back to the one that shows the road plan?
That one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no,
The road plan. So that one?
it's double triggered.
There we go.
So that's the balcony there,
Yes.
and that's 47.
And they're complaining about the balcony, not the side extension.
They're complaining about that, they're also complaining about the double-storey roof line.
I'm not sure, I mean, it's only probably 1 month of the year where the sun's that low anyway, to get behind, no higher than a house.
Well, I mean, I think in terms of the balcony, the one next door to 47, that
More at risk,
is
yeah.
more at risk of the balcony.
Yeah.
I think there's much improved. Just, sorry.
I'm not sure I want to have my coffee and toast out there in the morning.
I know.
It's have to go downstairs to get the coffee and toast and walk back up.
Something's on.
There we go, so that helps you to see sort of the extent in which it projects forward.
Oh, that's the balcony.
Yes, yeah. so
I mean, I
that's-
do get about it being 2-storey when it used to be a garage, but it is at the back of their garden, isn't it? I mean, it's, don't we usually get,
If you planted a tree, it would have as much shade, give as much shade.
Yeah.
A mature tree would have as much shade.
I mean, if it was sort of your kitchen window, that's when people's knickers are knotted, but
Yeah.
it's at the back of the garden.
So it is choosing out, because at first I thought it's a Juliet balcony.
I don't have a problem with it personally. Like,
And it's and it's next to the neighbour, they set it in a bit.
It's around here. This house back here.
Is the neighbour, the actual neighbour, number?
The actual neighbour is to the opposite side to where the extension's taking place.
Yeah.
But that's changing. Oh, it's not, is it? They're changing it. Oh, no, it's not really changing at all, is it?
So it's changing in a sense that the
The
roof,
style.
yes, so the
But not
roof
really the
design.
size. And are they okay with it? Were they one of the people complaining or was?
They were mainly complaining about the design was going to be changing.
Okay.
Yeah, because it says the house in the close tend to have a design where the ground floor extends out to the front with a sloped roof. So
But on those estates, everyone's always building a little bit here and
Yeah.
there and
Should see how.
changing. Yeah, exactly.
Roof lines are all.
And then you've got, I think this is 1960s, isn't it?
Same
And
as design.
some of it is, some of the building work is a little bit dingy.
Oh, you've got so many flat roofs.
But things do change.
But it's not architecture that you're going to rush to protect.
Yeah.
No, I think that's what we're.
It's not Victorian, is it?
No, that's right.
So
Houses are being
I
upgraded.
think that with that sort of shows exactly how it's sort of changing in terms of the bulk and the roof line design.
So in terms of the loss of light to number 47 from this extension, would that be classified as a loss of amenity to number 47?
If it could be proven that it's possible, then potentially yes, but
Even though it's the
I
back of their garden.
would be surprised that this would cause a significant enough.
Even if it's the back of the garden, that still counts.
So, yeah, yes, if something is that's gone up is so significantly or sufficiently different than what's already there, then yes, there is potential.
Okay.
But because of this, in theory, isn't really changing, it's not going from a bungalow to a full-on house. I don't think the level of loss of immunity of sunlight
It's just getting slightly
is,
longer.
yeah, so I mean, ultimately to them, all that's changing from what we can see on here is that there is a two-story extension coming out over the garage.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, there is an additional element going further back as well. And the roof line is then, or the roof design is changing to take that into account, but not, in my view, sufficient enough to say that it would cause a loss of immunity or a loss of light to somebody who's, it's their back garden.
Yeah, the back of their back garden.
Yeah.
I'm fine with your comments. Comment.
Any concerns from anybody? We happy to go with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So 2023-2549 2086. That is the criteria.
Lovely, thank you. Cool, back from the way.
So we now move on to 2023-2568, which is 2 Ashcroft Close. Please, Heather.
Okay, planning permission was granted, just move on to that, there we go. Planning permission was granted for extensions to the property in 2022. And another application at the end of 2023, extensions has since been withdrawn, because I think we looked at this actually at our last meeting. So that application was
So
dealt
it's been
with,
taken out?
has been withdrawn, yeah. This proposal essentially looks to demolish the existing dwelling and provide a new build to a similar design to the approved application. The footprint remains the same, but with internal alterations to the approved scheme. The main change is the accommodation in the roof space, with the addition of 2 further dormer windows, although the roof space remains the same. Changes make very little fundamental difference to what has already been approved. And Highways have said they have no issue, and I have said consider no objection. So whether or not they've worked out that it's cheaper to actually demolish and start from scratch, possibly.
Yeah, because so many roof lines.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, so they were going to add on and now they're going to demolish?
Yes, yeah, so they originally were going to add on to the existing dwelling, but ultimately they've come back with a new proposal to replace it, but it's changing very, very little. Nothing's changing footprint wise or design. There's just the addition of these couple of extra small dormer windows to the rear.
So the building will be the same height.
Yeah. Almost identical,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Okay.
Any concerns for anybody? All happy with it?
Yes, so actually, here we go. So you can see, I think, in your pack there, what was previously approved and then what was then proposed. It doesn't really. So the front elevation, there's a change to the windows and the roof. But fundamentally, very, very little.
So now we move to 523-2524 for 121 Erskine.
Okay, planning permission has already been granted for a similarly described application in 2023. Ground and first floor footprints and extensions are remaining as the approved scheme. The main change is in the roof by reducing the footprint of the proposed accommodation and removal of the approved door window. Essentially, this proposal is a reduction of works from the previously approved scheme, and Highways have no issue. So consider no objection.
All happy with that?
Yeah.
Good. 2023-2546 doesn't meet criteria. We move on to 2390, 11 Morton Close.
Okay, property sits on a large widening to the rear plot at the end of the cul-de-sac and appears to be quite dated. Proposals are quite extensive with small additions, so smallest extension of the front at ground and first floor to expand accommodation with a large two-storey extension to the rear, which increases the overall footprint. However, the side of the plot appears it will accommodate these quite easily. The property sits further back than the neighbouring properties, therefore reducing any possible impact. There is no increase in bedrooms, just size. The roof ridge line is not changing. The detached garage to the side is to be demolished and rebuilt into a single garage with a gym to the rear. There is ample parking provision on the frontage. The no tree works proposed, not conservation area, and highways have no issue. So consider no objection.
Great. It's going to, that's my place, and it's going to, there's an old chap who lived there before, they've got a young family in there now. And I think they've already done quite a lot of work on it.
Have they?
It must have, I think they must have been sort of hauling it, kicking and screaming into the last decade, as it were, from the 50s.
Right, okay.
But it's also buried as hedges all the way along, so it's not going to impact the neighbours at all either, really.
Okay, good to go. So we'll move to the next one, which is 5/23/2566 Blackburn Road, please.
Okay, this application seeks to install a new Class E shop across the access and partially open area that was used at the old Barclays Bank staff car park. The area is accessed through an undercroft to the side of Weston's Funeral Directors with a new shop frontage onto Leighton Road. Planning permission has been granted for the old bank building, number 16 High Street, to split the premises into 3 commercial units. However, parking provision was not included as part of the application. This application states that despite the area in the past being used for car parking, it is not possible to turn a vehicle around to enable it to exit the car park in a forward gear, necessitating the need to reverse onto Leighton Road. The site is in the conservation area. The proposed shop frontage is being made of timber with LED lights to match the other shop frontages in the road. The proposal is in agreement with the policy ER1, supporting Harkins and economy of the neighbourhood plan. Highways have no issue. However, there is an objection from a property opposite in Leighton Green. Their concerns are that retail units would change the quiet ambience of Leighton Green. There are a few businesses already to those businesses. There are a few businesses already, but Leighton Green is not the high street or the lower high street. The footfall level of those businesses and generally is rather low.
They've got Waitrose on it.
Existing businesses are not retail or fast food outlets. The existing businesses, which are not the majority in this mixed area, are fairly sedate. The retail unit would therefore not be appropriate to the area of Leighton Green. It would also consequently bring vehicular traffic and parking to that specific area of Leighton Road and will have a big and negative impact on traffic flow.
They'd be lucky you can't get parked
It's
on
never
the double yellow lines anyway, and then
And people ignore it, but yeah.
yeah, they can all go through.
Are we living in a parallel universe?
I mean, you've got the Inn on the Green, you've got Lusman.
Pizza Express.
Pizza Express, plus the Chili Lottie's.
I think they're referring purely to Leighton Green itself, which is sort of the crescent shape where the Salvation Army is.
The Pizza Express is on the corner opposite that, and then you've got a restaurant here that's never quite opened.
No, that's true.
That's it. I don't know what's happened to that.
That's weird. What has happened to that?
Goodness me.
To which, what, sorry, the one on the corner.
Just along from
What
Weston.
you
On the right there, the old M&Co.
Yeah, so that, I think it must have been before you were elected.
This
We've
before
had
COVID.
two applications previously from Oak, I think it's Oakman Inns. I was going to say Oakman Inns. So they put in planning applications to make significant changes to the property by adding a second floor
Oh, the balcony.
kind of, restaurant.
Overview.
Yes,
Yeah, there you
area.
go.
So the first thing that they put in was just,
Roof terrace.
yes, it was, a roof terrace ultimately, which sort of had sort of the ability to see 80 people. So it was quite substantial, but it was all open. It was like a kind of, fully glazed, but it had like bifold doors where in summer evenings, the whole area would be open. So obviously the noise, distraction, disturbance, it's a locally listed building, etc. So that was refused. They came back with another proposal of a slightly reduced scheme at the second floor, but that was still refused. And I think ultimately, commercially for them, it wasn't viable. So I think they're off the table from my
So
understanding.
is it going back on the market, do we know?
I don't know. I assume it's obviously owned by somebody, a landlord of some sort, and whether or not opening in. So I don't know, but that must have been a good year ago. I would have
So
thought that.
considering that's not being used, it's going to be naturally quieter anyway at the moment, but it doesn't mean it always will be. And they're putting in another property. Do you think they've got people who want to take that additional potential space?
So the person who is the applicant is a very well-known landlord of Harpenden who owns a lot of
Yeah.
commercial and retail units. He does do a lot of development successfully.
Yeah.
And the tenants, you know, they are occupied by tenants. So I would believe that potentially there's somebody in
Do
line.
you want a property?
I would
Right.
have thought. But I don't know.
Well, you're not going to get hordes of people in there, are you? You'll be lucky if you manage to move around with six.
And that was one of the comments actually that this resident said here, was that it's such a small unit that they wouldn't be sure who necessarily would want to take on such a
Well,
small facility. Yeah, and then
So
he
what
also.
would be at the back? I'm a little bit confused. You've got the shop.
So, yeah, so at the back, so there's the back there, and then there's going to be a little small extension to the rear, to the back of that.
Oh, that's
gonna
going to
have
be
a
the
little-
bit
Yes,
coming
that's-
out there.
yeah. So that's
Oh,
sort of basically that undercroft bit will become a
I see.
shop.
I
Be
see.
Sort of
There's a
insulated.
decent amount of space at the back.
So it's not, yeah, not bad.
Where do the houses go?
I was just thinking.
Pardon?
Is that where the hearses currently go?
No, they
No,
can't-
no, the Hearst is actually the Westlands. They are just behind the Inn on the Green. I think they've got an industrial unit.
Right, okay,
So I think
they
that
just pulled
this
that
is
from
actually their
Babylon.
sort of their shop,
right, okay.
their sort of kind of customer facing premises. So yeah, it's not.
I think we need all the businesses we can get in the town.
So yeah, I had no objection to this.
And it's a bit of a, it's a bit tatty at the moment, so.
Well, it's very touchy, yeah.
Any concerns with it?
No,
I think it's better go.
Okay, good to go. So 5/2023 256 doesn't meet criteria. Over the page, we go to 5/2023 2611, which is Salterview Lodge Common Lane.
Okay, so this is quite a large scale development, really, in a sense. So, well, saying in a nutshell, there's quite a lot of observations. Currently, the site is a large main house, detached 4-bay garage, detached gym and pool house, and a detached annex property. Therefore, the principle of development on this site already exists. The site is adjacent to the current built-up area of Common Lane and surrounding roads and sits just in the green belt. The design and access statement states that the site is included in the North East Harpenden Board location, which has been confirmed as suitable for release from the green belt without harming green belt purposes. Neighbouring agricultural land to the north of the site is also included within a proposed board location for future development. The design and access statement will reference NPPF Chapter 13, that it seeks the protection of greenbelt land, setting out the 5 purposes of the greenbelt. Most development in the greenbelt is inappropriate, with exceptions set out in blah, blah, blah. So moving on, that it says that a short distance away is Catherine Warrington School and its associated buildings and sports pitches. Planning permission was granted at Batford Farm, directly opposite the site entrance, for the demolition of the agricultural buildings, replaced with 3 single-storey barn-style dwellings. This development is currently under construction. Proposal is for 23 new dwellings, which is to be made up of the following properties: 4 3-bedroom semis, 2 3-bedroom detached, 6 4-bedroom semi-detached, and 3 4-bedroom detached. And then an affordable block of apartments made up of 3 2-bedrooms and 5 1-bedroom apartments. Number and size of affordable properties is in line with the SADC policy, which is of 35% of the dwelling mix, although the neighbourhood plan's desired figure is of 40%. The street scene and Common Lane will be made up of 2 pairs of semi-detached properties to one side of the access road into the development, and the block of apartments to the other side, forming a continuation of the existing street scene. All house dwellings on the site are 2.5 storey in design. The new properties in the Common Lane street scene mirror the height of the existing properties, which is approximately 8.7 metres. Houses at the back of the development site and to the boundary with the farmland are approximately 10 metres height. The apartment block stands at approximately 9.5 metres. Proposal is designed that the dwellings are located on the centre of the plot, with each property's garden projecting towards the neighbouring properties' land, therefore reducing the impact and loss of amenity on them. The proposal will go some way towards contributing to the new housing targets for the district. The topography of the site slopes rearwards in a westerly direction towards Milford Hill. It's towards the rear of the site that the taller dwellings are situated. The site is currently bounded by trees and hedgerows on all sides. The majority of this will be removed, apart from 3 trees and some hedging as part of the development. However, it is proposed that new species-rich boundary hedging will be introduced, with a small section of existing hedging retained to the north-east of the site to retain the site's enclosed character. Additional soft landscaping and planting are to be introduced throughout the internal streetscape and individual property limited space. Tree planting strategy with a selection of tree species is to be introduced across the site, both on the boundary and in which should be internal streetscape. 1 parking space is provided for the 1-bedroom apartments and 2 spaces for the 2-bedroom. 2 car parking spaces allocated for each house, with cycle storage also incorporated as part of the proposal. Preliminary ecological assessment and back survey has been carried out on the site. So I have said consider no objection subject to the application being judged as meeting the very special circumstances required for development in the green belt and the various policies that refer to that. There is one objection online so far, which is from number 21 Milford Hill. His concerns are that Common Lane is a small road used by local riding schools, which will be affected by the extra cars. Compulsory purchase of the school field has already caused parking problems during the school pick-up and drop-off time. It says that despite the council and the school stating it would not, this has not been enforced. Common Land has a badger set directly opposite this application site, where the badgers travel into the field along with foxes, deer and hedgehogs. It says the impact on these animals would be direct and dangerous to them. And it says that the road is not wide enough to support more traffic. So, and that's one of the crux of his concerns.
I would, hang on, rewind.
Yeah,
One thing, the riding school.
it says, yeah, used by local riding schools, well, obviously Greenway says it's long gone.
There is no riding school up there.
Okay.
That's fun. I don't know.
It still exists over there.
Green Acres,
Yeah,
they're not a riding school.
they're not skilled, but they're lovely, aren't they?
Yeah, but they don't do fat ponies and beginner riders. They do big RC show jumpers.
There's no comment from highways at the moment. Is there?
No,
So that would be my one thing, would be Common Lane is tiny. Can you fit that extra traffic on it?
so I suppose the thing is it is tiny, but it's a continuation of the existing street scene.
Row houses, yeah.
Yeah. So let me come out of here and I can go actually to the,
And I guess it's walking distance for the school.
yeah.
So it
directly,
shouldn't create any school traffic.
So it's there,
Let
isn't
me
it? It's
go
that
to
bit there.
the,
Yeah.
Whoever's got some more yellow lines.
It's that bit, is that bit there. So I think actually it's literally just at the end of the decent bit of road, isn't it?
yeah, so I shall take you there.
Anyway, potentially could widen.
But there is the Batford Farm, which is being developed on this.
Yeah, so if I take my little map to the
What's
site.
that big Batford Farm?
So Batford Farm is being developed at the moment into, and they're converting, well, they
Yeah.
convert barns or they flatten the barns, but.
So that's it, you can
Yes.
see this,
So here we
there's a
go.
decent
So-
bit of road and there's,
Yeah, so this here, so if you refer to your packs, you can see that, so this is the line of the existing house. So this hedging here is the boundary hedging
Yeah.
of the application site.
so they could actually make the road bigger.
So potentially, yes, I don't think that they have made any,
That's no worse than East Common,
no.
so
So
all around that area. Yeah.
so just a little short distance up. So bearing in mind that there will be just here, where this sort of terrace fencing is here,
That's where
that
they
will
go
be the
in.
start of the semi-detached property, so they will be a continuation, so this will be cleared. This will become the frontage of the semi-detached, and then the short distance along here will be the access road in,
That's, I think
and
that's
then
a
this
bit
is
of
the
a
site of the
spurious-
existing property,
Yeah, I think it's a
here.
bit of a spurious argument.
and then directly
I think it's
opposite
a great
there
spot.
is the site of
It's a
the
great spot.
barns.
Yeah, no, I think I agree. And by the time you've got all the big traffic, all the big lorries going in and out and the massive building works happening, it's gonna,
There is a junction just there in front of it.
There's a junction, yeah, a little bit, it's,
I think, aren't you gonna end up with a big road and that is gonna be a little road coming off it, do you think?
It looks like the houses that are not in the plot, that are on the edge of the road, it looks like you can drive or walk off that road into the front gardens. I can't quite see. Parking might be at the back, but you can definitely get access from the front. Is that what that looks like?
so this will definitely, absolutely be cleared.
Yeah.
It will definitely be cleared, so that will automatically open it up.
Yeah,
I don't think that's a,
and it's a very short distance.
yes, it is.
By the time they finished, it'll be all open up, won't it?
Because, as you say, it is a very short distance, but the new properties will start here. You've got two pairs of semis.
And also it's nice to see a sensible size of house, not an 8-bedroom.
Or just too many small ones. It's a nice mixture.
It is nice, actually.
My question was going to be, so if, for example, they got permission, St Albans Council, for 23 properties, are these some of the, because I know some developers have a tendency to get approval for turning
Then
it
make
into
them
residential,
too
and then
big.
double or triple the number of
Yeah,
properties.
or make them
Yeah.
bigger.
Make them bigger
Or
and,
they don't follow through with the landscaping.
yes, yeah,
And
yeah,
that's
the infrastructure.
the, the stipulation.
I could imagine that due to its location, that something like the landscaping and the trees would be quite tightly enforced. There'd be probably quite a clear condition that would need to be discharged to ensure that. But ultimately, if they're stating that they're going to be carrying out X amount of tree works or landscaping as part of the application, they actually do have to do that, yeah.
Just on the downside, the people in houses next to them, they obviously bought their houses not thinking they're going to have a big development plan.
Anything with a big space next to you is vibe, isn't it, wherever you are in the country?
In, on the plot, there is the issue of, sufficient, I can't remember the terminology, Heather, but that there is sufficient space for the development of this size. What's the terminology? So if you remember with the old Panauto site, they originally came in
Yes, okay, so
and they turned that round, that was going to be rejected because there wasn't insufficient.
yes, so they were, because they were flats,
Yeah,
then the issue became with the quantity of potential occupants
yeah,
and the type of occupant,
yeah.
there wasn't sufficient amenity space.
Yes.
But because of these are actually properties, houses, individual houses, they've got their own individual amenity space provided as part of it.
Parking
Yeah.
in front of our house
Yeah.
kind of thing.
So it's not the parking, it's actually sort of having a garden. Having the garden, so.
Oh, I see, and they've each got their own bit.
Yeah, because they've got their own garden space.
But what about the 3 2-bedroom apartment and the 5 1-bedroom?
So I think actually, if you look here, that actually you can probably, yeah,
What was that? It was just one house?
let me consult.
Do you have detached full bay garage, detached gym pool house and detached annex property?
You never need that little home.
It's,
So one family on the moment, and this way we can get a whole load of families living on it.
What was that, Storm?
It was, what is on there at the moment, and it's one big main house. A detached 4-bay garage, gym
Oh, you
and
mean
pool house.
one one family's been accommodated by that plot and actually you could get
And then now you're going to have
23
lots of
families.
Would mix as well.
Yeah.
Something for starters. Putting forward everything.
It does actually outline hugely.
We've got access to PowerPoint presentation.
Of course.
It's I'd like to look at the floor plan of the 534 please. Oh, it's onto the wrong thing. Apologies, I clicked the wrong. Bit too small on here for you to see.
Get the drawings out.
So which was it, that one? This one's not that one, the green one.
Green one. Let me get the actual drawing out. It was quite a hefty paper.
Quite blurry.
I think this is all the useful paper here.
listed, is it?
No, it's got conservation areas next to just the houses right up to the.
I think,
Yeah, I'm looking at.
Kirsty, here's the actual
Council numbers, yeah.
So actually they, there is an element.
numbers of.
Well, those
This can be included in the council.
Yeah.
This can be included in the local plan.
Oh, so their doors off, because their gates off the front there, and then they go around the parking. But I think that's safer, isn't it?
If you're able
You're
to,
talking about this road.
Yeah.
Well, it
Rather than
means that
reversing onto
it's
it.
only in that-
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
you know, people have lived there, they have, it has been.
What are these there?
These are those are the
the
three-bedroom semi-detached, those ones. These are colour coding.
Oh,
So
right,
you
okay.
see well, it's easy for me to say that. Right, so yes, so there we go. So that's what they're going to look like. So that's quite big. Except so they're the three bedroom.
These ones here.
Yeah, so that's these ones here, yeah.
Yeah, so they're three.
That's got bigger.
New ones are the four bedroom.
Whereas this way,
I think is
Yeah.
type
A1.
which is this
yeah,
one.
it's a bit, you know, a big plot of land for one
That's
family
right.
in this way.
So there we are, that's
Which
A.
one's the front side?
It's potentially that's A.
Apartments.
The apartment.
And they do have parking around it as well, don't they?
Yeah, so that would help you to see a little bit better as well. Sorry, street scenery.
That's down there.
So that, this is the these are the existing houses and then these are the ones further along.
I think it's great. It's 3 people. But it's 23 houses, we don't need size, you know, blood, but why is flooding like that out of interest?
Fine. Is it, it's, if you're on, if you're walking from behind the Tesco garage down the river that way, what I think they keep trying to build on is, oh, I know where the Marquis of Grenville or the Marquis is. There's floodplains there. I think that
It should be all right there, it goes up as well, doesn't it?
and they're, I think that's an area they're constantly trying to build on, which would just be, you know, you should sell them with a pair of armbands type of thing. And,
Well, it's.
yeah,
Those things that happen in Venice.
yeah, but actually, I think when the river goes, it sort of goes that, in that flat bit, that way towards the Marquis of Granby that way.
Yeah.
And then actually they're up a bit.
Well, considering all the who are about where we put stuff and the fact we've got a great school and not enough houses around it. Yeah, seems a bit
No, I mean, I think it's a great development and we should we individually view it as our business, but it's, I'm just raising an issue, that's all.
Which is what the amenity space for the
For the
flats.
flats. I mean, it's not something that we could
Can I have a look at that?
yes, have an opinion on, because not sure that we are.
What's the amenities? So the thing is that there isn't actually any defined sort of amenity space for the occupants of the apartments.
16 to 23.
When you say amenity space, what do
So
you?
as in like nowhere to sit outside and got like in a
Oh,
garden.
okay, garden.
Yeah,
They've got
yeah.
parking, haven't
They've
they?
got parking
And I thought
and
that
then
was garden, but that's very much all
Yeah.
parking, isn't
yeah,
it?
parking, and they've got sort of kind of trees and landscaping, soft landscaping, but nowhere that you would class as being somewhere that you can.
No
actually
shared
go
garden
and-
access.
Yeah, no
Whereas
communal
everyone
garden.
else has got a nice bit of garden.
Is this on a bigger scale?
Yeah, yes, yeah, it's much clearer for you to see.
There's just something about parking for this house here.
I think that might be a carport for them. They've all got
Oh,
parking
yeah,
here,
that's the
here,
So where's the flat?
here.
Oh, okay.
So there's parking around here. And then there's a bit of parking here.
It would be nice if they did have a little bit of greenery.
Like, I'm just gonna do that with this here, and then-
Isn't there a, there is a park, it's a bit of a way, isn't it?
Because there's 8 flats.
There's 8 parking spaces, I see.
No, I think there's more.
Entrance
Here, and just need that green space for these flats.
No. There's 3 2-bedrooms and 5 1-bedroom apartments. There isn't actually any clear guidance as to how much amenity space is required for apartments, unfortunately.
So we could express concern about that.
Yeah, express
Yeah.
concern.
There's just one other issue is the number and size of affordable properties in line with the SADC
Yeah.
policy of 35. Although the Hartland neighbourhood plan
Yeah,
reads
like
like 40%.
Well, the wording in the neighbourhood plan doesn't sort of stipulate that it has to be that. It says that it would, if possible, like to see 40%.
So could we repeat that wording? Because we would like it. And in terms of what is affordable, is that done in agreement with?
So affordable housing is normally sort of taken on by district council
So they
and would
would,
then be offered out to the eligible people to apply for it.
And they're applying to buy it, or?
I don't know, they haven't stated whether or not it will be on purchase or sort of kind of shared ownership. That's not
Okay.
clear.
If someone is ever able to buy affordable housing, if they want to sell it, how does that work? Without it just going back into the. open
So I
market
think
and
that
making-
there's a clause where it will always remain an affordable
Okay,
housing allocation. So if they move on, then it has to then, I believe, be taken on by somebody who
so you can
is.
go by market value, but not at the original.
I don't know a huge amount. I must admit.
I think it's incredibly complicated, affordable housing.
Yeah, I agree.
I suppose I think as it's Harpenden neighbourhood plan, and we are Harpenden Town Council, we should promote 40%.
So the wording says proposals for major housing developments are expected to provide 40% of housing, of affordable housing subject to viability until such a time as a new St Albans local plan is adopted, the revised target for affordable housing.
And what does major define as?
So don't think this is major. I think that this is actually class is just a normal. So major is sort of something very similar to like your northwest Harpenden. where
It's
you've got
100 and over kind of thing.
hundreds. Yeah.
So Glen Eagles did affordable housing. There was some purchase in there, and what they did was you could buy it outright, or you could buy 65%.
Yeah, it's like a shared ownership, yeah.
And then if you wanted to sell it on, you then had to then buy out what was left, but you are able to sell it on.
Can you sell on your bit
Yeah,
as
you can
well?
do that.
And then somebody else maintains their
The
bit?
rental, yeah.
Okay. The other thing about having a bit of a more amenities is the affordable housing is the housing with no amenities.
Do we know
isn't
that?
it?
Yeah.
Do we know that?
Yes, because the
Yes, the affordable housing is the flat.
is the flats, which is the pink.
Yeah.
Which has no,
It's 3 2-bed and 5 1-bed apartments, the affordable ones.
and that's the pink block,
yeah.
and it has
effects onto the rest of the places.
I mean, I think we should raise it, to what Pip just said, and I think there is space, they could play around with it with parking a bit better.
Yeah, because they've got 14 parking spaces.
Okay.
Just something.
Can you not object but express concern? at the
Yes,
same
of
time?
course, absolutely. Right,
Yes, but overall, it's
Yeah,
it's great.
so
Yeah.
it's,
I think it's a bit,
Mean.
it's a bit like, it'd be nice if the affordable housing had some greenery, I think.
so we express no objection to the development.
Agreed?
However, we express concern over the lack of amenity space to the affordable housing. And would recommend that it follows in line with Harpenden neighbourhood plan for housing.
There's something middle, they could actually have that section there as a middle.
That's what I was thinking, yeah, then. With the bins. then
Also
we could get-
subject to highways as well, isn't it?
Yes. Should we interpret anything about highways not getting in contact, or is it just they've not got?
It's
around to it?
possibly that they just haven't actually had the opportunity to reply just yet, because this was on my third list, which only came out last Friday.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so sometimes that highways have consulted already on the first list because that was 3 weeks ago.
Right. Is everybody happy with that?
Yeah.
Is that okay, Heather?
Yes, of course.
Good. Thank you, Vicky.
Put my C3 away. Good paper. There's an awful lot for this one. Took me a day to read through everything. Thank you. All right.
So I'll read this bit very, very slowly whilst Heather sorts
That's
that.
okay, I'm really there.
5/20/2615 doesn't meet the criteria. So we move on to 5/20/23/2586, which is flat 3, 8 Avenue St Nicholas, Harpenden.
Okay, the site is located to the rear of number 8 Avenue St Nicholas, with a flat roofed property located above a double carport and single garage, which serves the main house and this property. The proposal is to remove an existing external staircase to accommodate a more accessible entrance hall and partial enclosure of the existing covered parking area to provide a secure garage. Property is also to undergo modernisation and energy efficiency improvements, as the property is dated and uninhabitable due to heating and electrical issues. External zinc and timber cladding to certain parts of the dwelling are proposed to provide a modern look and added character. The site is not visible from the street scene. The site is in the conservation area and number 8 Avenue St Nicholas is locally listed. Despite this, proposals are not deemed to be detrimental. Consider no objection, subject to the appropriate design use materials and conservation area. Policy ESG chair of the native plan and policy chair and notified for the district plan affairs. It's a rather,
It's like.
no, so this is,
Behind.
it's behind the locally listed, yes.
And
Yes,
it's
so
already got something that's quite ugly there anyway.
it's a rather strange.
It certainly is.
piece of- It looks like a container.
It does, looks like IKEA.
So, yeah, so this is what is currently there at the moment.
Yeah.
And then what they're looking to do is then make it into sort of what looks a bit more like a sort of a contemporary sort of studio.
Is that
Gosh, but it's bigger than, it's huge. No different, they're not actually expanding it.
height, is the height
No, nothing's changing from height.
Really?
No, show me the original one again. So it's got a sort of funny, strange, I have got the paper
see.
drawings, so it slopes up already. It's not changing, nothing like that is changing. All that they're actually looking to do
It's
is,
changing the materials.
yeah, so alteration and extension to the existing elevated garden flat, including side extension, replacement cladding, replacement roof, because it's a bizarre.
So have they
flat.
built
mean,
There's, somebody built it in the garden effectively of one of the avenue houses. Is
So
that what
it's-
happened?
The avenue
sort of, yes, if I move on to here, you can sort of see that the bit that's blotched out is the main house itself.
Is that
And then-
separate then?
Yes, totally and utterly separate. So that's a self-contained, that's number 8 Avenue St Nicholas.
And they are
And
not
then-
connected to the flats at all?
And no, and then there's sort of a driveway that goes up the side, which is essentially the land of what would have been 8 Avenue St Nicholas. And this is accommodation that's been built above the carport and garaging.
And then sold off from,
Yes,
I just wonder what the street
Is the carport part of that property?
yes, so
Part of
there's
it?
car, so there's sort of.
you can see the
there's
cars
three-
just underneath.
There's, yeah, I think there's 3 or 4 car parking spaces and a single garage, which serve both this property and also
The house?
the main house
Yeah,
itself.
interesting.
At some point, somebody must have, that was a huge garden and somebody sold half of it off and.
So, yeah, so actually 8 Avenue St Nicholas is made up of a selection, or it's been split up already, so it's actually known as Linwood. So this is flat
Oh,
number
yeah, on
3.
the corner,
Pardon?
virtually on the
I
corner.
think so, yes. So number 2 and number 1 have both written letters of support
Oh,
for this, yeah.
Oh, right.
So there is actually a property management company which manages the whole site.
I hate going around those places when you're canvassing. I can never find them.
So yeah, it's an already interesting property.
Yeah.
It's not locally listed, the property it is.
No,
in
this
front of it,
isn't.
But it is in the conservation.
It is in the conservation area, yeah. But on the basis in the conservation area, what we've got is already there. It was built.
Not that you
Yeah,
never
absolutely.
know.
What's there already looks pretty shabby, so it does make it look tidier.
Pardon?
It makes it look a lot tidier than the shabby construction that's already there.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you can't live in it. It's,
Oh, right.
yeah. It's got electrical issues and it's the energy efficiency rating of it is woeful. Because of, I think, it
So
lacks
it's similar-
insulation and.
it's
No one's
similar-
living there now, so it would create 2 more properties.
I think they've taken inspiration from the EMC for this. Considering it's just a car park between them.
It's unfortunate those drawings make it look bigger.
Yes.
The basis that,
But actually what you're saying is exactly the same. It's just got different buildings.
Modernised.
Yeah.
okay,
If the roof was actually increasing in height, it would be stated in the description,
Yeah.
but it's not.
so we are happy with this?
Yes.
Happy with that? Okay. So 5/2023 2589 doesn't meet the criteria, so we're gonna have our homework marked. Take it away to the story
What's that? What we do with our recommendations?
with our planning committee recommendation
Yes.
analysis.
Oh.
Yeah, so I think this is the first time that actually the new members of the committee
Yeah.
have ever seen this. So every 6 months, I submit what are basically an analysis of our recommendations from our committee based on what actually happened as the main outcomes from St Albans. So it's broken down into the number that were refused, but there was a discrepancy, shall we say. So as in we had a problem with it and then actually it was agreed. And then there's a percentage of applications that actually both our decision, our recommendation and St Albans decision matched. So we're generally pretty good. So 89%, 77, 73, 75, 90% and 100.
And that's by month, isn't it? So we've gone quite quickly.
Yeah.
From 77 to 100.
So
So
we started off at 89. I know that was.
yes, that was April,
No, no,
yeah.
no.
So
So this one was May, HTC no objection, but SADC refused.
Yeah.
Design and
So
citing.
so design and siting, and harm on the conservation area and the locally listed building, and it was an officer decision.
Which one was that then?
So I don't go into the detail
No,
of
I just-
exactly
no.
which particular one it was.
So should we be aiming for percentage?
It's very, very difficult, to be honest, for us to, because they can often be refused on things which maybe isn't necessarily something that we would have considered or thought about. They can sometimes be on technicalities.
And the
So
call-ins,
the call-ins, yeah, so actually the number of call-ins that we now do are relatively limited.
if we look at the one in June,
So the one
Yeah,
in
'cause
June,
June-
15 Townsend Lane.
June, there was an awful lot, seems to be that we didn't object to and the St Albans District Council did.
what happened to that call-in?
So yeah, so 15, if you turn the page, it's just where unfortunately it splits. So 15
Okay.
Townsend Lane, we said refuse and SADC refused it.
Fine, okay.
Yeah,
So
so
they did
that
call
one-
it in and then they,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so we called it in. I don't think it went to committee. It actually was done by an officer. It was an
Right.
officer decision,
So it
that one.
didn't need to go.
So if you, I don't know if you can remember when we had the couple that came
Yes.
a couple of meetings ago, who were resubmitting and they were wanting to sort of kind of get
Oh,
some
that's
help
right.
with
We weren't
guidance and
sure
assistance.
why things have been turned down.
That's 15 Townsend Lane. This calling one was that one, was the first application that was refused.
Okay.
And they came back with a resubmission. I haven't seen the outcome yet.
And we
of that one
don't
yet.
know if it went through.
Not just yet, no.
So is there anything that you
Appeals.
would like to pick out, Heather, or say about it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, often, probably a little, well, generally, the reasons why we say no is in relation to trees, which we have in the neighbourhood plan, and parking. Though those are two things that we feel quite strongly about. But sadly, the district don't share our concerns about it. So you can see here that actually we refused it through to overlooking the loss of amenity. SCDC permitted it. So actually, then another one here, so overdevelopment and loss of parking. We raised that one with parking, St Albans said, no, that's fine, it can go ahead. So yeah, it's, yeah, and then here we go. So no replacement planting. This was in June. SADC permitted it.
But that was, that was just express concern, wasn't it? We've done it rather than said no.
Yes, but it still goes down as being a no because yeah, it's either if you recommend refusal or have an expressed concern, then that in theory is saying that we aren't
We've got
happy
an
with
issue
that
with it.
particular application. Yeah, so if we have no objection, then of course that means that that's fine. We're happy with it.
And then the appeal outcomes. So there was obviously one in April, which wasn't nice, but it's 3 Cross Lane.
yes, if
They
we
dismissed that appeal. Council, so.
Oh, sorry, lower down, sorry, yes. So, yes, the 3 Cross Lane, so we had no objection. District Council refused it and the appeal was dismissed, so it didn't actually, it was carried essentially.
Yeah, right.
So there are some appeals, otherwise, appeal.
Yeah.
Investigation of that. The appeal by Merchant Taylor Construction concerning the old Apiary site.
Action Green.
Yeah, so this is the B. Yeah, so this is an application which I'm not sure whether or not it was. This is on the site where there were loads of bungalows,
Yeah.
if you remember, where they got permission for 6. They then nibbled away and asked for 7, or they had 5, asked for 6, and then they wanted 7. And I think it's been refused,
Oh, right,
and they've gone to appeal.
yeah, okay.
But I think that was pre this new committee.
Yes, it was.
So what's 144 Station Road? So right down Backford Way. Just want to point that out, yeah.
Oh,
I don't remember it, but I remember the, oh, where it is now. So let's have a look at the.
Oh, sorry.
Your picture? Yeah, so this would have been quite early actually last year.
Right.
The reference number is 1026, so it would have been actually quite the earlier part of last year.
Okay, so there's that, and then there's works, decisions. Applications. All happy with that?
Yes.
Okay, we can. We'll meeting to a close.
Yeah. 2014, and the next meeting is on the 20th of February.
I'm going to shoot, guys.
Yeah, okay.
Getting up at 4:30.
Oh, my Lord,
Where are you going? Me?